Good afternoon and welcome into Jan Smith Field here in Washington, Illinois. It's a beautiful Tuesday. We're ready for some Class 3A sectional softball. It's the Metamora Redbirds and the Washington Panthers. We're all ready to get things started here as Layla Harris, the infielder for Washington, gets us going with a bang, a line out to second base. That was caught by Metamora's Kennedy Nee over there at second base. A little bit of a late start going live, but glad you're with us here on ClutchSportsIL.com. It's been a crazy day, as it is all the time when it's playoff season here in Central Illinois. Baseball later this week, playoff soccer, lacrosse, any sport, you name it, right in the heart of playoff season as Nora Johnson fires in a strike and a swing and a miss there from Peyton Swanson of Washington. So Johnson quickly ahead 0-1. She comes off a phenomenal game in the regional title game. Metamora beat LaSalle Peru 9-7. Johnson had a 2-run home run that broke a 7-7 tie in the fourth inning, and that final score held, and the Redbirds hung on to win. That one high and away. Should make it 2-1. We'll bring you both teams' lineups here as they come to the plate. This is Peyton Swanson, though, the freshman for Washington that's put up some big numbers this year. That one's high, ball 4, and Swanson is on with a walk. So in case you're just tuning in, Layla Harris lines out to the second baseman, and Peyton Swanson draws the walk. So now here comes Jenna Flessner. Again, I'm Jonathan Michael here with Clutch Sports Media. Flying solo here today. Had a little bit a last-minute change of plans with our crew, so just me here in the booth, but should be a good day of softball here. East Peoria and Pontiac coming up after this, and obviously those two winners of those games will play here again on Friday for a sectional title. As Johnson fires it in, Swanson shows bunt, but that one just barely foul-tipped off the bat of Flessner, who's a Valparaiso commit. Comes in hitting .315 with 4 homers and 22 RBIs. 0-2 here to Flessner. Johnson ahead in the count, which she likes to be. Runner is going. Swanson slides. Good throw from behind the dish. That was Avery Taylor, I believe, the catcher for Metamora. A nice throw, but Swanson steals second. So now a runner in second, 1 out. It eliminates the possibility of a double play. I shouldn't say eliminates, but significantly reduces the probability of it. Here's the 1-2. Off speed is a bit upstairs to Flessner. On deck for the Panthers, it's Malone McKinley batting cleanup, followed by Bailey Herrick. She'll be in the circle for Washington today. Then it's Bowman, Ellie Schaefer, O'Connell, and Barth to round things out for the Panthers. Get to Metamora's starting 9 here in a second. Starting 10 if you include the designated player. Metamora shared a Mid-Illini title with Dunlap and East Peoria, a very competitive conference this year that really came down to the wire. East Peoria was a 12-0 or something of that matter. They were undefeated for quite some time as Flessner lifts one high and deep to left, way into the trees, but it's just foul. That ball had lots of lift and lots of carry on it. I tell you, whoever lives on the other side of those trees may have found a softball in their backyard, courtesy of Jenna Flessner. And last time Clutch Sports Media was here at Washington, she actually ended the game on a walk-off home run, although it wasn't a close game. It was a walk-off to win in a mercy rule. 11-1 over Bloomington, and Johnson gets the strikeout as Flessner swings and misses on a strike low and away. So 2 down here for Nora Johnson and the Redbirds. That'll bring up Malone McKinley, number 17 in black for the Panthers. And she looks at a ball high and away. McKinley having a great season for the Panthers in what will be her final season with the team. She is a senior, is already graduated from Washington High School, but of course, as all seniors get to do, finish out the season playing for the team. And Johnson fires. A little bit of an excuse me swing there from McKinley. That's fouled off, so it'll even the count at 1. You Metamora's defensive alignment. It's Avery Taylor behind the dish. Kerrigan Hartnett is over at third base. Caden Still, of course, the Ole Miss commit at shortstop, but we'll have to meet the rest of the defense later because Nora Johnson just struck out McKinley and ended the frame. Headed to the bottom of the first here, still scoreless here in Washington. Again, great day here for softball. IHSA Class 3A sectional semifinals. Metamora and Washington, storied rivalry in the middle line leading us off. And then again, it'll be East Peoria and Pontiac I will have with you tonight at 6:30 p.m. But while you have a chance, I want to thank our great sponsor here that makes today's broadcast coverage possible. It's Jake Weston right here in Washington. For all of your insurance needs, give Jake a call at 309-444-4441 as we get that interview out of here. Or not interview, the video there, 309-444-4441. Again, Jake Weston State Farm in Washington for all of your insurance needs, or you can visit him at jakewestoninsurance.com. So Metamora will bat in the bottom of the inning. Now you may ask why that is the case, with it being played at Washington's home field. Well, even though Washington's the host, it doesn't always mean they're the home team. It just means that they're the host. Metamora is the higher seed. I believe they won the pregame coin flip as well and elected to be the home team, occupy the third base dugout. So they will bat second here at Jan Smith Field here in Washington Park. Great environment, lots of fans here. Fans up and down the first and third base lines. Great crowd on hand here, as one would expect for a game like this. It's win or go home time in the IHSA playoffs. But let's take a look, without further ado, at Metamora's starting lineup. Leading it off, it'll be Kerrigan Hartnett, the third baseman, who we mentioned earlier, followed by Caden Still, a shortstop. Then it's Addie Pesha, who is in right field for Metamora today, followed by Ellie Schaefer, batting cleanup and playing center field. Bailey Bender will make it 3 outfielders in a row, playing left field and batting fifth. And it'll be Nora Johnson to bat 6, followed by Addie Wooden, Bree Besser, and Kennedy Nee. As here's Herrick to get things started for Washington. It's fouled off there by Kerrigan Hartnett, the younger sister of former Metamora quarterback and basketball player Caden Hartnett. We'll look at how Washington set up defensively. Obviously, Herrick pitching at first base. It's Ellie Schaefer. Is that one by Hartnett? A leadoff single drops in front of the right fielder, Olivia O'Connell, for Washington. And a good start to the game for the Redbirds. That's always a key in just about every game. As here's Caden Still, the all-area, all-conference, all-state, all-you-name-it player for the Redbirds. Herrick goes off speed on the first pitch, and it's low and away. But anyway, back to how Washington is set up in the field. It's Malone McKinley behind the dish. At first base, it's Redling Schaefer. Second base today, Peyton Swanson. Layla Harris over at short and Jenna Flessner at third base. And in the outfield, it's Olivia O'Connell in right, Cammie Barth in center field. And I believe that's Devin Malekish over there in left field. She's the designated player for the Panthers. So she's not in the order, but she will play in the field. And that one, they got a pitch to hit and down for Till. That one will nearly reach the wall. Till digging for second, and she's in there with a double. Runners on second and third, and an early threat here for the Metamora Redbirds with still nobody out.
Right fielder number 20.
As that'll bring up Addie Pasha. She's second on the team in most offensive categories behind Cadence Till, but that doesn't mean that she hasn't put up big numbers this season. She's had some monster games as of late. Had an 8 RBI game with 3 home runs against Limestone back on May 10th. And earlier that week had 6 RBIs in a win against IVC. So she's had some big games and comes in with 6 homers and 36 runs brought in. That first pitch was low and in the dirt from Herrick. And that one is high, so 2-1. If you're Herrick, walk doesn't hurt you a ton here. Does set up a double play possibility. And you don't have to see what Addie Pasha's dangerous bat can do. We'll see what she does here. Nice pitch on the outside that grazes the corner, makes it 2-2. Although at 2-2, I think you're going for the strikeout at this point, and one would be huge. Don't want this ball to be in play for the Panthers. That one bounces well in front of the plate, so count is run out. Bailey Herrick in the circle for Washington. She's been the team's ace all season long. Comes in with a 3.64 ERA. 3-2 is popped up. Coming out in the center field, there's Barth, makes the catch. She'll gun it to home plate, but it's not going to be in time or on line as a sacrifice fly for Addie Pasha. And Metamora is on the board here in the early going as Till moves over to third base as well.
Now batting for the Redbirds, center fielder number 2, Ellie Schaefer.
So here's Ellie Schaefer to dig in for the Redbirds. She's just behind Till in terms of, just behind Pasha, I should say, in terms of who's got the most hits on the team. She's got 45. Pasha's got 46. Schaefer, although she bats cleanup, not really a over-the-fence power hitter. She's hit 6 doubles this season as our man in blue down the third baseline makes a nice play. That one foul. Schaefer is one of many Redbirds that are going to be playing in the inaugural McDonald's softball all-star game here in just a little bit. It's a staple. It's been a staple in the baseball side here in the Peoria area for the last couple years. Game of all-stars at Dozer Park. That's have a team of 1A and 2A players, play another team of 1A and 2A players, and then the same goes with classes 3A and 4A. And this year, they're adding softball into the mix as well, so that should be lots of fun. Washington, lots of players represented as well. We'll get to them later on today as Schaefer fouls that one back and over the fence. Pretty much a standing room only crowd here at Jan Smith Field. Say definitely at least a couple hundred in attendance here today. Maybe we'd even be reaching 1,000 if you include those tuning in on ClutchSportsIL.com. We're glad you're with us here as well. Tell your friends and family in case they can't make it or got something else going on or just want something to do on your fine Tuesday evening. Tune in to CSM. We'll be here with you pretty much all night as Schaefer looks at the ball low and in the dirt, and I'll make it 2-2. Schaefer, if she does get on base, has lots of speed. She's got 13 steals on the year. And here's the full count pitch again. That one is high, and Schaefer draws a walk. So more trouble brewing for the Panthers right now. Runners on the corners and one out.
Now batting number 18,
that'll bring up Bailey Bender, a junior utility player for the Redbirds. He's got 22 RBIs on the year and could make it more with a base hit here. Good pitch there from Herrick that gets her ahead in the count, 0-1. Something that Johnson did well for Metamora in the first half. We'll see if Herrick can get ahead of counts more so here in her first inning of the game. Quickly head 0-2 after that foul ball. Again, you got Till at third. She reached with that double. Pesha brought in Hartnett with that sacrifice fly. And Schaefer stands at first with a free pass. The 0-2, Schaefer running, chop two back to the pitcher. Herrick will go home. McKinley with the tag. They get Till. That's a big play for Washington as Till is in some pain at home playing a bit of a physical play. Washington gets the out. That was a 4-2 fielder's choice there. So they tend to Till. We hope that she's okay. Again, Till, the Ole Miss commit for the Redbirds, such a big player for them. And just a tough play at the plate there is Swanson there fired home, and McKinley put the tag on her. Again, in case you're just tuning in, Washington got one base runner in the top of the frame as Swanson walked and then stole second as Till will be helped to her feet. And we certainly hope that she is okay. Fantastic player for the Redbirds, and she's about as tough as they come. So, again, not sure what that means for the Redbirds, but we know that Till will fight it off as best as she can. So there will be runners on first and second with 2 outs. And Nora Johnson will come up to bat for the Redbirds. Again, Johnson, more so known as a pitcher, comes in with a 25-2 record. So that'll certainly get your name known in the area. But she's also hitting .293 on the year with 20 RBIs and 2 homers. Now as we resume action, and certainly hope that Cadence still is all right. Again, those plays at the plate can be tough. Can't remember, at least personally myself, if there was a slide involved or not, but Johnson lines it in the left center. A run's going to come across. It's going to be a close play. No throw from Herrick. And Johnson gets an RBI single to atone for the run that was thrown out. So the Redbirds pitcher helps her own cause, gets her 21st RBI of the year, and she'll be pinch ran for by Lauren Riddle. He's been mainly used as a courtesy runner on the year. So first and second here for the Redbirds. 2 outs, 2 on. It's Addie Wooden now up, donning number 12 in red and white. Wooden, just a sophomore for Metamora. That's something about this team that, really you would think, you look at this team at how good they've been, that they're loaded with seniors, and they do have some seniors on their team, but lots of strong sophomores and juniors for head coach Derek Linder and the Redbirds. Till is a junior, Schaefer's a junior. As that pitch gets away, runners will advance. So Bender moves over to third, Johnson over to second. Other players that are seniors for Metamora, they include Hannah Yoder, Kerrigan Hartnett, and Bree Bessert, who's on deck at the moment. I believe the first left-handed batter we've seen from the Redbirds here in Wooden. Herrick 1 pitch away from getting out of the inning. Metamora is struck with the RBI single and a sac fly. She thought about it, but good eye there from Wooden. And a ground out. That will do it here in the bottom of the second. So Washington gets out of the inning, allowing 2 runs, the RBI from Johnson and the RBI as well from Ellie Schaefer. So we give Panthers a chance to try and get something back here in the top of the second. These two teams met twice this season, with Metamora winning both games.
Your assistance will enable event staff to fulfill its responsibilities efficiently.
So it'll be Johnson back out for her second inning. She's also one of those McDonald's All-Stars on the Redbirds, also a first-team Mid-Illini selection recently.
Leading it off for the Panthers is going to be pitcher number 19, Bailey Herrick.
And it'll be Herrick to lead things off here for the Panthers. That one bounces in the dirt. First pitch was a ball low. Good pitch there from Johnson, makes it 1-2. Again, we're working through a couple of things here. Again, Jonathan Michael here, just flying solo here with you on ClutchSportsIL.com. 2-2 pitch is fouled back. As Herrick here now lifts one into left field, coming on to make the catch there for Metamora. That looks like that was Bender out there in left. So first runner down here for the Redbirds, as that will bring in Brooklyn Bowman now. Bowman batting .258, but has a big slugging percentage, .581 on the year. She's only got 8 hits, but of those 8 hits, 4 of them are doubles and 2 of them are home runs. And Johnson gets Bowman to swing and miss there.
First baseman number 13, Ellie Schaefer.
And I'll bring up Ellie Schaefer to bat 7th for the Panthers. First pitch from Johnson is in there for a strike. Beautiful day here, about mid-70s, a little bit of a wind blowing out to left field, about right to left or so. And that one swung single into right field. That'll get past the right fielder, Ellie Schaefer. Ellie Schaefer's around second. She'll go to third and will slide in with a triple. How about that to inject some life here into the Panthers? Their first hit of the game.
Now batting right fielder number 18, Liv O'Connell.
Is a triple from Ellie Schaefer. So that'll bring up Olivia O'Connell. The 8th place hitter here for Washington. Hitting .327 with a .422 on base percentage and slugging .473. So better numbers than most number 8 hitters for softball team. And she's quickly behind 0-2. Johnson just missed on that one. That makes it 1-2. Here's the 1-2 into O'Connell. RBI opportunity, but a swing and a miss. Metamora gets out of the inning with another stranded base runner. So the Panthers have stranded 2 so far. Neither one of them have come in to score. And we are on to the bottom of the second here from Jan Smith Field here in Washington. And now, as you see on your scoreboard and also right there as well, today's broadcast wouldn't be possible without Jake Weston State Farm right here in Washington. For all of your insurance needs, whether that's auto, home, life, you name it, give Jake a call, 309-444-4441. Pretty easy phone number there to remember. Or visit him at JakeWestonInsurance.com, or you can stop into his office as well right there on Main Street in Washington. Ready to go here in the bottom of the second. A 3A Washington softball sectional semifinal. It'll be Bree Bessert, Kennedy Nee, and then back to the top of the order with Kerrigan Hartnett for the Metamora Redbirds. Glad you're with us here on ClutchSportsIL.com. I'm Jonathan Michael. And coming back for this again, East Peoria and Pontiac could have a all-Mid-Illini sectional title game. We'll see what Pontiac thinks of that. They defeated Dunlap in the Dunlap Regional title game. As here we go now with Bree Bessert. First opportunity to see her bat today. She's a senior for the Redbirds. A good eye, that's what she brings to the plate. 16 walks to 14 strikeouts. 16 walks among the team lead. And she shows a good eye there. That one, just a bit of a better pitch there from Herrick. Dabbed to the end of the zone, and it'll make it 0-2. And Herrick just trying to get Bessert to chase. Nothing doing there. Be important here for just get that first out here if you're the Panthers. Get Hartnett began that inning for Metamora with a single, and then Till followed up with that double. S1 grinding to the third base side. Fluster up quickly with it. High throw, but brought in at first base there by Ellie Schaefer. So nice defensive play from the Panthers, and that'll put one down for Kennedy Nee, a junior second baseman for the Redbirds. Nee hitting .280 on the year with 21 walks and 14 strikeouts. That's one thing about this Metamora team. They don't strike out too terribly often. Their walk to strikeout ratios are most of the time just about even, if not in favor of more walks. Nee looks at the ball low. As we get a little bit of a gust of wind here. Now it's blowing a little bit left to right now, as that one just barely foul tipped. So that'll make it a 2-1 count here to Nee. He's got 28 hits on the year, and exactly 25% of those have been doubles. That's 7. As Herrick fires a ball high. Herrick is an Illinois Central College commit, or more commonly known as ICC to those around the area. This one grounded to the left side and past a diving Layla Harris. And Nee is on with Metamora's 4th base hit of the game. So first time through the order, Redbirds go 4 for 9. It's a pretty good way to start. As we're back to the top of the order now with Kerrigan Hartnett. Singled her first time up and hitting .407 on the year. She can get a hit here today. That would be her 15th multi-hit game of the year. Certainly a trait that you'd want in your leadoff hitter. Here's the 1-0 from Herrick with Nee at first base, and that one is high for ball 2. Nee looks like she may be ready to run, but not quite sure. That one fouled off, and fan just missed a catch there, although he was nearly had it. Washington down the third base line, all decked out in their orange and black. All the Metamora fans occupying the third base line in their red and black as well. Here comes the 2-1 to Kerrigan Hartnett. That one hit well to the left side, and that one's through for a single. And how about it? There's Hartnett's 15th multi-hit game of the year. She's got 2 base hits already today, and Metamora looking really strong here to start. As here comes Kara Craig now for Metamora. She was a player that substituted in for Till, so it's Craig at second base. Coming in for Till, who was, in case you're just tuning in, was injured on a collision at home plate. Grounder back to the second baseman, and
now batting number 3, Kara Craig.
as 2 bodies colliding, Till went down hard and came up a bit gingerly. Certainly hope that she's okay, but here's a big opportunity now for Craig, who grounds this one to the right side, right to the second baseman, but the throw is missed. Metamora is going to score a run here. That's probably going to be chalked up an error. Craig moves to second. Hartnett's over to third, and Metamora scores another run. How about Kara Craig? We'll have to see what they officially call that, but it could be a fielder's choice, could be an error, could be both, but Craig reaches and extends the inning for the Redbirds, second and third with 1 out. As Pesha chops it to the shortstop. McKinley dropped it, but now we're going to be caught in a pickle. Here we go. Flessner back to the pitcher, Herrick. They get the runner going to home. That was Hartnett. Craig moves over to third, and in the meantime, Pesha moves over to second. So if you look at it in terms of where the runners went and who all scored, it was essentially almost the same as a strikeout. Runners on second and third again, just 1 more out. As I believe that was a 6-2-5-1 fielder's choice there for the Panthers. See a little bit of everything anytime you come to the ballpark. I'd like to hear if there's any other 6-2-5-1 fielder's choices. As here's Schaefer with an opportunity now for an RBI or 2. This one chopped right back to Herrick. Calm throw over to Redling Schaefer, and that will do it. Nice job by the Panthers getting out of the inning. Could have been a lot more damage for Metamora, but they do score 1. They're ahead 3-0 here after 2 innings. Here in the sectional semifinals here from Washington, Illinois. And for Washington here in the top of the third to get things going for them, it'll be Cammie Barth, Peyton Swanson and Jenna Flessner, the 9-1-2 hitters for Washington. Let's take a look at back the last time that these teams met was just over a month ago on April 25th. Metamora won that one 11-2. So they certainly have been hitting well when they face the Panthers, and highlighting the games for them, Nora Johnson went 3 for 3 with 4 RBIs, and also threw a complete game, allowing just 1 earned run with 4 strikeouts. One in a very long list of good games that she's had this year, and certainly deserving of that first team All-Mid-Illini selection. She has been arguably one of the best, if not the best pitcher in the conference this season. See another good one later tonight, Meadow Terry for East Peoria as they take on the Pontiac Indians. Johnson's first pitch with a strike, and now quickly head 0-2 to Cammie Barth. Barth comes in hitting .310. Barth has been a little bit more of a regular starter lately. She's had 7 of her 9 hits on the season. All of those, or 7 of those 9 have come since May 2nd, but she doesn't get one here. A strikeout for Johnson. That's her 5th, the first time through the Washington order. So that'll be interesting to see, honestly, where or how the Panthers approach their at-bats now. Could always be different. First time that you see a pitcher in a day versus can you see her later on. And that one hit Swanson, rode just a bit inside, or rather that was Harris, pardon. So that's the Washington second baseman who will reach base the hard way. And now Peyton Swanson comes in. Again, she walked and stole second her first time up. Last time these two teams played, Swanson had one of the better days for Washington offensively, went 2 for 4. With Harris at first and 1 out, gotta wonder, we'll see if Stephanie Lawson, Washington's head coach, gives her the chance to steal, and took a big lead off there, but doesn't go to second. 1-1 now here to Swanson. Again, Swanson, just a freshman, going to really be a foundational piece here for the Panthers. As she drops down a bunt, going to be a tough play for the first baseman, and it's over the head of Craig. Harris is going to come across to score. How about the hustle on her? She was flying around the base pass, and Swanson will stay at first. But how about Layla Harris? She was ready to go and made the trek all the way to second, to third, and to home. That was a tough play to make there for the Metamora first baseman, Bree Besser. Just kind of a backhand, she just kind of shoved it, and it went over the head of Craig. So I think that should likely be chalked up as an E3. And now Harris scores the first run of the game for Washington. So that'll give the Panthers dugout a little bit of life as they chant. Here's Flessner. Struck out her first time up. And a late strike call there that evens the count at 1. Flessner, I had a chance to write a story about her earlier in the season on Clutch Sports Media Overtime. Talking about as Swanson will run in at second, she'll be safe as the throw couldn't be caught there, so that's 2 steals. Now for Peyton Swanson, Washington being aggressive on the base paths. But back to Flessner, I was talking with her about the fact that she only played 1 varsity game last year for Washington, and still before this season committed to play Division I softball for Valparaiso. Nice pitch from Johnson, freezes Flessner though, as she gets rung up. So 6 strikeouts now in just 2.2 innings for Johnson. One of those strikeouts was this batter now, Malone McKinley. McKinley was a second-team All-Mid-Illini pick last year. This one hit high and deep to center, but it will be caught there by the Metamora center fielder. I believe that was Pesha, if I'm not mistaken. And that will do it for the top of the third for Washington. So Panthers take advantage of the Redbird error, get one on the board, and trail 3-1 here at Jan Smith Field. And again, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor for this game, Jake Weston State Farm, right here in Washington. For all of your insurance needs, highly recommend giving Jake a call or a visit. You can call him at 309-444-4441 or visit jakewestoninsurance.com as well. Or maybe you'll see him around in the community. I know he's been out at a couple local events with a couple businesses. So certainly want to give Jake a big shout out, and again, visit him for all of your insurance needs. For Metamora, they could pick up some extra insurance with some more runs. Of course, no lead is safe, especially in the playoffs against your conference rival. Really, this is a game you come into thinking that anything could happen, even though it was Metamora who had the better regular season, at least on paper. They went 29-6, 12-2 in conference play. Washington came in with high expectations, had a couple of tough losses, lots of losses by 1 or 2 runs, but they were right there, in lots of them just didn't quite get the bounces all the time, but still finished, or they came in today with a 17-13 record overall, 5-9 in the Mid-Illini. They were, again, just not far off, maybe just a couple hits, couple strikeouts away from maybe having 20 or more wins, or maybe potentially making it a 4-way tie for the conference title. A tough play by the shortstop, and they get the out. Nice play there. That was Layla Harris over there at short making the play, retiring Bailey Bender for out number 1. As that'll bring up Nora Johnson again, who has helped her cause now with RBIs in 2 straight games. Johnson also really came up big for Metamora in a game against East Peoria not too long ago, that one that I happened to be at. It was a 0-0 game for all the way up until the bottom of the 8th or 9th. I forget exactly what extra inning it was, but Johnson did have the walk-off hit after pitching a heck of a game. As Herrick gets ahead in the count here, 2-1 to Johnson, who wears number 9. Again, she'll be back next year for Metamora. Herrick hoping that this isn't her final game. She's a senior for Washington. They also have Malone McKinley is also a senior, so an experienced battery for the Panthers today. And also Ellie Schaefer, a senior at first base, but by and large, Washington, a team that will return a lot of talent next year as well. Flessner's a junior, Harris is a junior, Swanson's a freshman, Gracie Glob is a junior, Brooklyn Bowman also a junior as well. Here's a line drive and into the glove of Malekish. What a play in left field. How about Devin Malekish flashing the leather? That's going to be on one of the top plays of the area tonight. Steals a base hit away from Nora Johnson.
Shortstop number 12, Addie Wood.
That ball gets over the head of Malekish. You're looking at probably an easy double for Nora Johnson. Now, Panthers can breathe a bit more easy. Base is still empty with 2 outs. Here is Addie Wooden. Wooden's been a good defender for the Redbirds this season. Hit her first career home run against Dunlap on May 1st, but will ground out back to the pitcher, Bailey Herrick here. A 1-3 putout and the first 1-2-3 inning for Bailey Herrick in the circle for the Panthers. What can they do with it in the top of the 4th? We shall see, as she'll lead it off, followed by Bowman and Redling Schaefer. Here on ClutchSportsIL.com. And again, while we have a quick break, again, really want to thank again Jake Weston State Farm in Washington. Today's broadcast would not be possible without his support. Always a great supporter of local high school athletics. So, again, auto, home, life insurance, you name it, Jake has you covered. It's Jake from State Farm at the number on your screen or JakeWestonInsurance.com. Looking at sort of the other softball highlights from around the area in case you haven't seen. I know many people have, but Illini Bluffs down in Class 1A will be playing for their 5th straight appearance in the Class 1A state title game. They beat Carrollton 1-0 yesterday in the Athens Super Sectional, so they'll face Campbell Hill Trico in state semifinals this weekend, as this one is tattooed. Will it be fair? No, it will not. Herrick just blasted that ball just like Flessner did back in the first inning down the left field line, but it just goes foul. If both of those balls are fair, and both of them were close, we're looking at a 3-3 ball game right now. Actually, it would have been 4-3. Flessner's home run came with Swanson on base, or her potential home run, I should say, as Herrick swing and miss there. That wind really blowing today. Really could carry a couple balls that may normally just be deep fly balls over the fence. Herrick looks at ball one, so 1-2 here. Johnson still ahead. How about the dynasty, though, that Illini Bluffs has made? Could win their 3rd state championship in 4 years. Swing and a miss from Herrick. And that's the second time that she nearly misses giving up a home run. Proceeds to strike out the Washington batter. So that'll bring up Brooklyn Bowman now. She started Washington's last 4 games. She also swings and misses. Johnson really finding her groove now for Metamora. But of the 4 softball teams still alive in the Peoria and Bloomington Normal areas, 3 of them are playing here today. Another fine pitch from Johnson to make it 0-2. And we will only have at least 2, possibly 3 more softball teams left after today. One of these teams today will be eliminated. East Peoria will fight to stay alive against Pontiac again, coming up at 6:30 p.m. right here on CSM. So we'll take a quick break in between games later. You can refresh your browser, maybe grab some dinner, and we'll get that new stream up on our website and our YouTube channel as Johnson strikes out Bowman for the 2nd time today. And that'll bring up Ellie Schaefer.
Number 13, Ellie Schaefer.
Other teams that were recently eliminated back on Saturday, Olympia down in Class 2A had an absolutely fantastic season that unfortunately for them came to an end. They went 29-1-1 up until that loss to Auburn, a conference foe. They fell 4-3 as Ellie Schaefer waves and misses there. Johnson has just been on another level this inning. Could strike out the side with one more pitch here. Here's the 0-2, and just foul tipped right back into the cage for Ellie Schaefer. Ellie Schaefer's original hit, called it initially a triple, but it was actually called a single, and she advanced to 3rd on the error. But it still functions the same as a triple. That one low, good eye there from the Washington first baseman. Washington had Ellie Schaefer had a great game for Washington back on May 6th. Went 5 for 5 with 3 RBIs against Metamora. That'll certainly add to your batting average. This hit could, but it will fall into the glove of Ellie Schaefer in center field. And a 1-2-3 inning on both sides in the 4th. We move on to the, out of the bottom of the 4th, with Metamora leading 3-1 here in the Washington Sectional semifinals. And again, I want to thank our great sponsor, Jake Weston State Farm in Washington, for today's broadcast coverage. You see his information up there on your screen, but in case it's a bit too small, you can see it now, 309-444-4441, or visit jakewestoninsurance.com for auto, home, or life insurance, located right here in Washington. New up for Metamora, it'll be 8-9 one-hitters, Besser, Knee, and Hartnett, the latter of which is 2 for 2 on the day. And a big difference maker for the Redbirds as Herrick comes back out. Let's take a look at comparing both pitchers so far. Herrick in her 3 innings has given up 5 hits. Hasn't struck out a batter yet. We'll see if she can do that here in the 4th. Allowed 1 walk. 34 of her 57 pitches have been for strikes. And you look at Metamora's side. Johnson's gone 4 innings with 8 strikeouts, 1 walk. Allowed 2 hits. The only run that she's allowed has been unearned, obviously on that error that Layla Harris, or I should say Peyton Swanson, I believe, better on the base pass. Or no, that was Harris that scored. My apologies. Easy to get the 2 mixed up. Both infielders for Washington. Bat right next to each other in the batting order as well. Johnson, look at how aggressive she's been. 43 of her 59 pitches have been strikes. Herrick deals to Besser. Strike looking on the outside. One and 2. That one is golfed into center field. Nice play, though, made by Barth. Caught it with her glove at about ankle height. Had to rush in to get it. A couple fine plays in the outfield for Washington, saving some base hits. And who knows where this game could be if those hits go down, you know. Could always be a bit of a domino effect. And Washington done a really good job with their gloves lately. So here's Kennedy Knee. Singled with 1 out back in the 2nd inning. How about this for a stat? Knee reached base in every game for Metamora up until April 19th. Give or take, that's about halfway through the regular season. So quite the streak there from the Redbirds junior. And she had an RBI single last time these 2 teams faced off as Herrick deals a strike. 2-1. After that bumpy first inning, Herrick has really settled in well. As we expected to see good outings from 2 of the pitchers today. Knee gets that one just past the glove of Harris. Make that 2 base hits for Knee on the day. Harris just barely missed that one. That one hit pretty hard. Had some good exit velocity on that one. So now that brings up Hartnett, who's been a dangerous bat for Metamora. 2 for 2. Both of her hits have been singles. That one popped up into short right. O'Connell coming on, makes the catch for the quick out. So Herrick certainly won't mind that. 1 pitch, another out. As here comes Kira Craig. Drove in the run earlier back in the 3rd. And that one was a ball high. Speaking of pitchers, we should see another great pitching matchup in the next game. Again, Meadow Terry for East Peoria, one of the conference's best 2-way threats as Knee is running. She'll be safe easily in a second base. So her 8th stolen base of the year. She's got plenty of speed. And as for who Pontiac will likely throw against the Raiders, it'll probably be Elena Kraus, the Stanford commit. Yep, you heard me right. Stanford commit pitcher for Pontiac. She's led Indians to a great season. Illini Prairie Conference champions. They beat Dunlap 5-0 in the regional title game. Otherwise, it would have been an all-Mid-Illini sectional here in Washington. That one chopped up. It's going to be a tough play. Third baseman Fletcher up and fires. They're going to say she's safe. Runner comes home. They got her at home. Good play from Ellie Schaefer to get knee at the plate. You can't blame him for trying to send her home with the speed that knee has, but he has a better throw there from Ellie Schaefer. That's the second out that Metamora has been gunned down at the plate. So more good glove work from the Panthers, and they have still kept it a 3-1 ball game here through 4 innings. Panthers with 3 more chances to take a lead or tie here in the Class 3A sectional semifinals.
Participation in interscholastic activities generates values that make student athletes better citizens. Parents, coaches, and officials can reinforce
Look at
the development of these students by expressing
line
supporting,
score so
and
far
displaying
today.
those positive values gained by
Metamora has got
participating and competing.
3 runs on
Challenge
7
our
hits,
young
2
people not
errors.
just to go to
Washington
school, but to
currently
go beyond
1
with
run
the
on
IHSA.
2 hits
The
and
future
1
plays
error.
here.
Been some tough, hard-hit balls today for both teams. Certainly every out has not been guaranteed. Can't take them for granted, especially at this stage of the postseason. If you win here today, that means you are
Now batting for the Panthers, number 15,
halfway
Bailey
to reaching the state title game. 6 wins in the playoffs gets you to the state title game. 7 wins in the playoffs gives you the state title. Swing and a miss there to start the inning from Olivia O'Connell. O'Connell was one of Johnson's, count him up, 8 strikeout victims today. Johnson has split them up pretty evenly as well. 2 strikeouts in each of the 4 innings today. I think the key for Washington is just to get some balls in play and never know what could happen. That one low, good eye again from O'Connell. She ended the regular season really well, O'Connell did. Ended on a 10-game hit streak. But so far, he has been 0 for 4 in the postseason. Still looking for that first playoff hit. Was hitting just 172 at the end of April. But now, look at O'Connell's batting average coming into today. It's 327. That's quite the turnaround. She's ahead 3-1. Washington could use a base runner. Swing and a miss, though. Tantalizing pitch there from Johnson. O'Connell just couldn't quite hit it. So the string is run out. O'Connell looking to start the inning on the right note for Washington. That one fouled straight up above our heads and foul. So we'll do the 3-2 again. 7th pitch of the at-bat. That one is low and a walk drawn for O'Connell. Just below the knee there. Tough pitch to take, but nice eye there from O'Connell, her 10th walk of the season. So now a runner on base for Cammie Barth. She's the game-tying run as it stands right now. Still plenty of softball left to be played. Barth squaring to bunt. Takes that one for a strike. Barth, not exactly a huge power hitter, but does have a triple on the year. And that one, as the scoreboard was on, it's 2-0. A Barth pulled back on both bunt attempts. In that case, umpire said that she did not offer. Gets the bunt down there. They're going to say that one was foul. Or no, that one was fair. Excuse me. Just barely, though. Not by much. But Barth gets the bunt down. Nice play from Avery Taylor behind the dish for Metamora. That moves the runner O'Connell over to second base. And we're back to the top of the order now for Washington. Layla Harris.
Now batting for the Panthers, shortstop number 9, Layla Harris.
Harris has got good speed and a good gap power. 9 doubles on the season. That's among one of the team leaders. Harris was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs in their regional title game. Washington was the only team in the area to play last Friday. I know there's been a lot of rainy days in Central Illinois, but in case you don't remember, last Friday there were some storms, lots of rain in the area as Harris nearly gets hit with the pitch. But Washington was playing down at Bloomington. They said, hey, we can move this game over to Illinois Wesleyan University. They have a turf field. Obviously, the rain affects that a bit less, and so they did play on Friday. Washington hung on to win 8-7, and Herrick stranded the potential game-tying run at third base. Tough play for Craig there at second, and they got her. That's a double play. They double off O'Connell at second. How about Kara Craig? Came in for an injured Caden Still, drives in to run earlier, then makes a diving play and doubles off O'Connell. How about Kara Craig's time to shine? That's a 4-6 DP. And another 0 on the scoreboard for Washington. Head to the bottom of the 5th. It's Redbirds ahead 3-1 here at Jan Smith Field. And while we have a chance to catch our breath, again, I want to thank Jake Weston State Farm right here in Washington for sponsoring today's broadcast. For all of your insurance needs, auto, home, life, maybe even more. Maybe there's more insurance out there I don't know about. But either way, Jake's got you covered. 309-444-4441. JakeWestonInsurance.com. It's Jake from State Farm. It'll be the heart of the order here for the Redbirds with Ellie Schaefer, and Bender here to kick things off here in the bottom of the 5th. Metamora has led the entire game. But, you know, at this point of the season and in this situation, you know, 3-1 lead, I bet to them, probably still feels like they're in a tie ball game. They never have enough runs. I think if you are the Redbirds, I'm sure that's the way they are treating it, but in case they're not, I'm sure that's what head coach Derek Linder is telling his team right now. Linder has had a fantastic career with the Redbirds. Just won his 400th game, actually. Against LaSalle Peru on the final day of the regular season. He's in his 19th year. 403 and 219 in his 19th year. He's an alumnus of Canton High School, as that one is driven past Harris. Pesha is on. Probably going to call that one a base hit, at least in my book. That one was hard hit. Tough to expect Harris to make that play, especially while diving.
Now batting number 2,
back to Linder.
Ellie
He was a
Schaefer.
2024 ICA Hall of Fame inductee and was also a former defensive coordinator for Eureka College and Metamora's football teams. As here's Schaefer now. She's 0 for 1. Walked in the first and grounded out to the pitcher back in the third. So with nobody out, big key for Wash is going to be to get that lead runner. Again, they've thrown out 2 runners at the plate today. That one hops right in front of McKinley, and Pesha will take second. So Metamora gets a free base. So where Herrick could, again, really use a strikeout. Still searching for her first today. Here's a 2-0. That one grounded hard to the left side and just barely foul. Find a lot of balls that have been right there, teetered on the edge of fair or foul. Our third base umpire over there has been busy. It's good that there's a 3-man crew, 2 field umps, and obviously one behind the dish. They've done a fine job today. The 2-1 lifted high and deep to center field. That one could go. It's gone into the trees. Ellie Schaefer. A 2-run homer from Metamora. It's a 5-1 ball game. Her teammates mob her at the plate, and that will double what Washington's lead was. How about Ellie Schaefer? I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that may have been her first home run of the season, and what a time for it. 5-1 Redbirds now, as there's that ball we were talking about. You know, it just needs a deep fly, and the wind will do the rest. And that one carried right over the Interstate Battery sign over there in left center field. And we're going to have a pitching change here. Jenna Flessner will come in for Bailey Herrick. So going to look at what Flessner's done this season. And when Herrick isn't pitching, it's been mostly Flessner. She's 5-2 with a 3.71 ERA, 45 innings in which she's had 43 strikeouts and 16 walks. So overall, pretty good numbers for the junior. Herrick stays through. She goes 4+ innings, gives up 9 hits, 5 runs, 4 of which were earned, 1 walk, and no strikeouts. So now a dynamic that I have to pay attention to is, you know, these Metamora batters, they see what Herrick pitches and how she takes the at-bats. Now you have a whole new pitcher. It's like you're facing a brand new one, and we'll have to double check. I'm not sure if Metamora has faced Flessner at all this season. This could be the Redbirds' first look at her, but either way, it'll be Bailey Bender to lead things off. 0-for-2, the fielder's choice. First pitch from Flessner is high. It was Herrick who pitched all 7 innings the first time, or I should say the last time these two teams faced off. First matchup between Washington and Metamora back on April 8th. And Herrick again, pitched the entire game. So this is the Redbirds' first look at Flessner this season. In case you were wondering, Metamora won that first matchup 2-1 on a walk-off in the 8th inning. It was Schaefer who hit the walk-off single, and Flessner walks Bailey Bender on 4 pitches. So Metamora continues to put runners on base. Here's Nora Johnson now. RBI single and a fly out to left field. At first outing, Herrick pitched really well, 7 1/3 innings, allowed just 4 hits, 4 strikeouts and 5 walks. Johnson, by comparison, gave up 9 hits in 8 innings, but only allowed 1 run, no walks, and 5 strikeouts. That's something that Johnson has shown this year, is the ability to rebound really well. It was especially on display against LaSalle Peru. Gave up a tough inning against the Cavaliers. They hit her for a couple of hard hits, a couple home runs, but then came back and then had that 2-run home run to take the lead, and then pitched really well in the 5th, 6th, 7th innings. As she pops this one a mile high on the infield, and that's the new third baseman. That's Herrick. So her and Flessner just switch spots. Puts it away for out number 1.
Number 12, Addie Wooden.
So Wooden comes in, 2 ground outs for her today. I say that Wooden has been more of an underrated player for Metamora this season. Hitting .339, OPS is over 1. That's always a sign of a good hitter that can do a bit of everything, can hit for average, has a good eye, and also can have a couple extra base hits. She's got 7 doubles and a homer on the year. And she's also an alternate for that McDonald's All-Star softball game that we mentioned earlier in the broadcast. So if there's maybe any players that have to pull out, Wooden may step right in. She bunts this one foul. So 1-2 in here. Probably not a bunting situation now, especially with 2 strikes. Again, if you do bunt it foul on a 1-2 count, that is a strikeout. See how confident she is in laying one down. Lays off here. And count evens at 2-2. Swing and a miss. Nice pitch from Flessner. Just blew it by Wooden. Got her a little bit on the outside, and Wooden chased it. That's the first strikeout of the game for the Redbirds. Again, mentioned earlier, this is a team that doesn't strike out much, and they're showing why here today. As the first strikeout doesn't come until, so we're doing some quick math here, the 14th out for them. First 13 outs were all on balls that were in play. Here's Bree Bessert. 0 for 2. Hits this one into the left. Malekish lines it up and puts it away. That will do it in the bottom of the 5th. But Metamora adds on to their lead on the 2-run home run from Ellie Schaefer. Hard hit ball to left center field, and the Redbirds are 6 outs away from a berth in the sectional title game, where they went to last year, and they won a sectional title as well.
For more than 100 years, the IHSA
before falling to Lamont in the Super Sectionals. Again, while we have a quick break, I want to thank again Jake Weston State Farm right here in Washington for helping sponsor today's free live broadcast coverage on ClutchSportsIL.com. For all of your insurance needs, give Jake a call, 309-444-4441, or visit him online, JakeWestonInsurance.com. You can also stop by his office as well. I'm sure he wouldn't mind too terribly much. As the Panthers look what they'll have coming up. It will be Swanson, Flessner, McKinley, the 2-3-4 hitters. And if any were to extend, you get Herrick, Bowman, and Redling Schaefer. So this is really a critical juncture for Washington. You want to at least try and get something, at least threaten here in the 6th, figure something out. Not just to get those runs back, but give their top batters, like the ones that we'll see here this inning, a second or maybe even third trip up to the plate again. Here's Swanson. Doesn't officially have an at-bat today. She walked and then reached on an error. Swanson's on-base percentage just a tick over 500, so she's definitely a good bet to reach base. Went 3 for 4 against Lincoln, and went 4 for 4 the double against Morton back on May 16th. That game against Lincoln, obviously, again, was that regional championship game. Very nearly saw the rail splitters here, but it was the Panthers doing enough to win that regional down there in Bloomington. Swing and a miss. Johnson, another strikeout. That is her 9th of the game. As now we'll see Flessner, who's been one of those strikeout victims here twice today. Flessner, her teammates and head coach both say she's always positive. Always has a smile on her face, keeping the team upbeat. Certainly a great asset to have. Something that doesn't obviously show up in the box score, but it's so big for a team over the course of the season. Swing and a miss there again. Johnson ahead 0-2. Johnson really pitches well in the later innings. That's what sort of her, I guess you could say, one of her trademarks have been. That pitch low and in the dirt. And another strikeout for Nora Johnson. That's number 10 on the day. Gets Flessner looking. Now 2 down here in the 6th.
Now batting number 17, Malone McKinley.
Here's Malone McKinley now. She goes ahead to count 2-0. Here is the 2-1. That one low makes it 3-1. So McKinley really could use a walk here, and she does draw it. That will put a runner on base. See if the Panthers can strike up a 2-out rally, make this game bit more interesting here as Herrick will step in. Tara Alois will pinch run for the Panthers.
Now batting for the Panthers, number 19, Bailey Herrick.
Herrick is 0 for 2 with a flyout and a strikeout. And a heater of a fastball comes in for Johnson, just a bit outside. See what they do with McKinley at first. They try and be aggressive with her. She tries to steal second, but I think at this point I don't want to risk too much. Or I should say Alois at first, pardon. McKinley, obviously the catcher for Washington. They got a courtesy runner for her so she can get the gear back on. She's hoping it'll be quite some time before he has to go back out. Foul tip backwards. They're from Herrick. And the winner of this game will take on the winner of the following game, East Peoria and Pontiac. We'll have that one right here for you on ClutchSportsIL.com and our YouTube channel. That one hit well down the left field line, but going foul. So I'll make it 2-2. Really be a big strikeout here for Johnson if she can get it. Would force Washington to make a comeback in just the 7th inning alone. Alois set first, crouches down. That one, a good eye there from Herrick. Johnson really wanted that one and was close. And just to be sure, they appealed on the first base, make sure that she didn't check her swing too far and go. She did not, so full count. Big pitch here from Johnson. Foul tipped, and Herrick stays alive. Alois now can run on contact. Alois is a pretty fast runner. Obviously, you're going to throw a courtesy runner out there. You're going to want to have one of your fastest bench players out there. Here is the 3-2. And got her looking. Nora Johnson strikes out the side with a walk sandwich in between. She's got 11 strikeouts on the day. And I'd say is probably the contender, at least as it stands right now, for game MVP. She has been on it for the Redbirds, who will have a chance to add some more insurance runs here in the bottom of the 6th. And while we're talking about insurance, again, I want to thank Jake Weston State Farm in Washington for sponsoring today's free live broadcast coverage right here on Clutch Sports Media. You can contact him via the avenues shown there on your screen or visit him at his office right there on Main Street in Washington. Not too far away from Washington High School either. Take a brief look at the season for both teams. Metamora won their first 6 games, lost their first game of the year down in Tennessee. They went to Murfreesboro to play a handful of games. And they had the Margie Wright Showcase at Metamora and went 2-2 there, so they were 9-3 on April 6th. Then after that, they went 14-1 in their next 15, including a win over Washington, Pekin, Limestone, another win over Washington, and 2 wins over Morton, Dunlap, IVC, and Pekin. A little bit of a number there. Back to the pitcher. Flessner gets it over to Ellie Schaefer to retire. That was Kennedy Nee. Had that single back in the 4th inning.
Now batting number 11, Kerrigan Hartnett.
Metamora would have won the Mid-Atlantic Conference outright if they were able to get a win against Dunlap on May 16th, but the Eagles got the best of them 2-0. Sutton Santoni pitched a great game for Dunlap in that one. Recently wrote about her on Clutch Sports Media Overtime. You can go and check that one out. Here's Hartnett, lifts it in the left. Going to be a tough play. Malekish, another diving play. That's 2 for her on the day. Wow-wee. How about the glove of Devin Malekish, the sophomore? Out there in left field, just a magnet out there. Now 2 down here for the Redbirds. It's Craig. And fouls that one off. Here's the 0-1. That one pops straight up. And Herrick catches it in foul territory. That'll do it for the 6th. One last chance for Washington. Here in the sectional semifinals, they need to score 4 runs, or else their season will be over. It will be Bowman, Redling, Schaefer, O'Connell due up for them against Nora Johnson here in the top of the 7th inning. Johnson has been on it today for Metamora, as Washington has only had just 2 base hits. Oh. There's that one time where Redling Schaefer reached 3rd on the error, and then that was a single. That was one of Washington's hits. The other one was a single by Peyton Swanson. Could have been called an error, but at least how it stands on Game Changer. Call that the official stats for now. That was a hit for Swanson. So Bowman, Redling, Schaefer, O'Connell combined today are 1 for 4. Redling Schaefer's got that base hit, and O'Connell has the walk. It's going to be a pinch hitter, though, for Bowman. It'll be Gracie Glob, the junior. She's got a good eye, drawing 10 walks on the season. And drawing 1 here would certainly be big. You just need base runners at this point. Unless you get a grand slam, you're not going to get this all back in 1 hit. So key for Washington right now is just to string some hits together and see what magic you can make happen. That one high from Johnson. Glob fared well, actually, in her last time against Metamora. Went 2 for 2 in .262 on the year with 3 doubles and 7 RBIs. Swing and a miss there from Glob. Johnson just blew that one by her. And now 1-2. It's Redling Schaefer on deck. And a good eye there from Glob. 2-2. Out of nervous energy here at the ballpark right now from both sides. Again, fantastic crowd here on hand. Almost standing room only. Swung on and missed. Another strikeout for Nora Johnson. Stop us if you've heard that before today.
Now batting number 13, Ellie Schaefer.
That's 12 strikeouts now for Johnson on the day. And she has just been a machine lately. Had a walk allowed in the last 2 innings, but no hits and no one else has reached base. First pitch strike here to Ellie Schaefer. She does not want this to be her final high school at bat. That one bounces in the dirt. Easy one to take. Oh, it's such a fun time that 2 rivals face off in the playoffs. Doesn't always happen, depends on the sport. It has happened. I know it did this past year in girls basketball. Washington took that one. That one popped up, and Nee makes the catch at second base. Just 1 more out stands between the Metamora Redbirds and the sectional title game. And the last hope is Olivia O'Connell. She's 0 for 1. Walked her last time up and struck out back in the 2nd. It's Barth on deck right now for Washington. See if it even gets there. Johnson's first pitch to O'Connell is a strike. Here's the 0-1. And just a bit upstairs. Washington, by and large, has had some pretty good eyes today. They've laid off on some good pitches from Johnson, but she's also been able to strike him out. I was about to say just like that, but that's just strike two, and now Washington's season is hanging on by a thread. 1-2. Johnson to O'Connell here with 2 outs in the top of the 7th. Here's the pitch. Just barely outside. Gutsy take there from O'Connell. So we'll do it again. 2-2. Seeing lots of crazy comebacks, especially in the postseason. Softball teams around the area. Swing on and miss. Metamora puts the finishing touches on this one. They win 5-1. And a fitting way, Nora Johnson, another strikeout. And the Redbirds win it 5-1 here in the Washington Sectional semifinals. Johnson strikes out 13. In the win, allows just 2 hits. And no earned runs. Only run came on that error for Washington back in the 3rd inning. Metamora got that 2-run home run from Ellie Schaefer. That was insurance at the time, but they didn't need it. Also RBIs from Johnson, Addie Pesha, and an unearned run the Redbirds pushed across as well. So Metamora will move on to take on either East Peoria or Pontiac on Friday evening right here in Washington. Unfortunately for the Panthers, their season comes to an end. 17-14 for them. Finished 5th in the Mid-Illini, but still won a regional title despite, a couple trials and tribulations in the regular season, a couple, tough breaks, tough, close losses that they bounced back really well. A team that really was a lot better, and maybe it looked on paper this season for them. They got lots to look forward to in the future under head coach Stephanie Lawson. But Metamora, that's win number 30 on the season for them. They moved to 30-6, and they are guaranteed to be familiar with who they faced or who they will face in the sectional title game, because they beat Pontiac in the first game of the season 2-1, and of course they've played East Peoria twice and are 1-1 against the Raiders. So it'll be familiar territory for the Redbirds to make another sectional title game. They'll be looking to win 2 straight. And certainly wish the best to Cadence Till. Again, Metamora's star shortstop, the Ole Miss commit, who got hurt earlier in the game, but was just seen walking off on her own power right now. So, tough play there, but she is certainly very strong, and certainly wish her the best health-wise going forward for the Redbirds. So that will about do it here from Jan Smith Field here in Washington for the first game. Again, game 2 between East Peoria and Pontiac coming right up on ClutchSportsIL.com. Metamora, though, is the winner. Nora Johnson, 14 strikeouts, and the Redbirds win 5-1. I'm Jonathan Michael from Clutch Sports Media saying so long, and hope you join us here in just a little bit here between the Raiders and the Indians. Refresh your browser, grab something to eat, grab a drink, relax and enjoy your Tuesday night. We got more softball coming your way right here on CSM.